Okay, welcome back. And we're continuing our analysis or reaction to Myrrhman by Talk Talk, which I just heard for the first time. And sure enough, yeah, I did think a little bit of my old girlfriend, Kathy, last name begins with a K, just because it's Talk Talk. Like I said, we were together for over a year, and she loved this band. And I couldn't get back to Talk Talk. It was too sad to do it. So glad I'm getting back to it. The album opens with this is amplifier. All you hear is this piece of equipment, the amplifier, which is interesting. It's sort of like opening the scene and saying, okay. And I at first I wasn't even sure what was that. It sounded like some kind of electronic equipment humming. So, anyways, the it starts off very slow and beautiful and textural, and there's lots of acoustic instruments. You've got some drumming, you've got some violin. I think it's violin, and sort of a drumming, kind of an airy drumming sound. Very airy kind of drum kit, sort of jazz sounding in a way. And then you've got some brass. So it was almost improv in a way, but there was some structure when he was singing. At first, I didn't recognize his voice so much, and then when he started getting a little louder, I recognized some of the characteristics of his voice right away. It reminded me of his earlier work, the singer's work in the Talk Talk. So, yeah, there was a feel like the only other band that this reminded me of is a little of David Sylvian. If any of you are familiar with David Sylvian of Japan, he went on a solo career from Japan. He's very progressive in a kind of in a different kind of way. He's a little bit his own category of progressive. Highly recommend checking out any of David Sylvian. He has orchestral. He brings in lots of orchestral elements. So this song, very pretty. It could be a great soundtrack actually for a film. I mean, it just would. It just has a very strong sense of place. When I hear that first track, it took me to a place. I just felt a connection right away with the band, with the musicians. The microphones were picking up everything very sensitively. You can hear every little nuance of all the instruments, and they're just naked essence and not produced. And this is funny because Talk Talk, of course, their earlier albums were very synth pop, right? 80s, and super amazing melodies though, and very different too. I mean, even though they were a synth pop band, I mean they stuck out a mile away from a lot of other bands in the 80s. They just had a very strong sense of musical identity that did not march with everyone else, and yet they managed to find that great commercial success with that song, and of course, no doubt, did the cover of that song, which shows you that it's a great song if other bands can cover it. Now, of course, this song, who could ever cover this one? You can't cover a song like this. It's just it's so open and interpretive and very improv, as I say, and very simple. I mean, the verse sounded like it was just basically two chords. It was just kind of going back and forth between two chords, and he was vocalizing over that. And then a lot of the other parts sounded very improv and open and sort of non-structured. So so now, as I enter this album and go on with and the next track, which is Ascension Day, I'm very curious. Where is this all? Why did they choose this track to open the album with? I'm very curious to know. Is it setting the tone? Is the entire album very much laid back like that? We'll see. We're going to find out. So let's continue on. I'll put the link up here to the next React video for this album. If you're not watching it in a playlist, I'll put it in a playlist too. So, thanks for watching. Join the Wolf Pack and subscribe and be a member of the Wolf Pack. Spiraling out, it's Dean.